I'm here with two-time WWE Tag Team Champion, Rene Dupree. I can't believe I was screwing up your name. I think I'm still a little upset over what happened last night.
Very unprofessional on Ted Yar's part, in my opinion.
You were actually supposed to be on stage for the rest of the show, but it didn't work out.
Well, actually, I'll be honest with you, Devon. It's just his attitude just turned me off. I just couldn't stand being there anymore.
Well, it was nice chatting with you. You talked to us a little bit about your experiences growing up in your dad's territory, but you didn't talk much about Rip Rogers, who I recently interviewed with. He's quite a character. You want to tell us about some of your experiences with him?
I love Rip Rogers. I mean, yeah, he's a character, but everybody in wrestling is a character, right? I mean, we're all a little crazy in our own little way, and the longer you're in the business, the crazier you get. But he's somewhat of a father figure to me. And
you have to be crazy to be in this business because what do we do? Travel around. The travel's almost worse than the actual job of wrestling, isn't it?
Dude, I've been this year I'll be on the road 10 and a half months straight. All right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And you started your career as Rene Rougeau. What was the whole story behind that?
I came up with it. My father didn't want people to know that I was his son at first, I guess. So it was just a trial, and I liked Rene Rougeau. I was a big Rougeau fan, actually. Fabulous Rougeau, so I used Rene Rougeau. But that was just for like a 5-week tour or whatever. But I have all the respect in the world for the Rougeaus.
Were you a fan of the Mountie as well?
Well, being Canadian, yeah, I thought it was kind of cool. He was French, But I always thought Ray was like the most athletic of the two, right?
Did you ever meet Jacques or Ray over the years?
No, never got the chance to meet him.
Okay.
Never got a chance to. I'd like to someday.
Yeah, they're both really nice guys.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite match you've had so far in Great North Wrestling? You've had a bunch with me. You've had Wes Briscoe, I think, too, who's been in the ring with us at one point.
The most unique was obviously that UFC cage match, and I think the stiffest.
Stiffest on me, you busted your
Yeah. How's your chest, by the way? It was black and blue, but you know what? That's wrestling, dude. You can't take it. Get out. But that three-way we had was actually a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with that one.
Have you ever done much MMA training? Because I've noticed when you're in the ring, you actually have footwork similar to a boxer, which most wrestlers don't have.
Right. I think it's because, like when I'm working in Japan, all those guys were MMA fighters and they all trained judo. And I was in the dojos, we would train judo. So it's just like, you catch on to it, right? So like working with guys like Masakatsu Funaki and Suzuki Minoru and all those guys, you just adapt to it, right? But it's different from anything else in North America, right? So that's the key.
And you mentioned last night you're wrestling the Great Muta coming up. Any matches of his that were your favorites growing up?
Jeez. I mean, think about this for a second, right? He came to the United States for 9 months. That's all he was here for in WCW. And look at the impact he's made.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, people still talk about it.
Exactly. And he was only here for 9 months in 1989, dude.
Yeah. That cage match with him and what was it called? The Thunder cage match.
Thunderdome?
Thunderdome, yeah.
Okay.
That was something. It was a bit of a cheesy match, but
right.
I think one of the wrestlers actually got burnt in that by one of the malfunctions that happened that night because they were supposed to be something caught on fire. Something caught on fire that was not supposed to catch on fire.
Wow. Yeah, but no, Muto, man, in my opinion, top 3 wrestlers of all time.
And what's it like wrestling over in the UK now? In the past, they were known for really that Dynamite Kid style. We had the Fit Finleys and the Regals.
Yeah.
But has it changed much? Because now wrestling has changed a lot since that time. And I know when I was over there with you, there was a lot of play into the crowd, but that was Brian Dixon's league, which is a little bit different than some of the other leagues out there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's so many, I think there's like 100 different companies over there, like independent companies.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of them are different, but I think personally that the UK wrestlers are some of the top in the world. Yeah, I consider Japan and then the UK.
And speaking of Japan, you were tag team partners, tag team champions actually with Kenzo Suzuki.
Yeah.
Any stories about him? And he had a pretty short career there despite his size and abilities.
Yeah, I just think he just didn't really, see, the Japanese are such nice people and submissive people that, you know, they don't really, when they come to America, they're, you know, very obedient and stuff. And then my experience is sometimes you have to be more of a, I want to say asshole, but you have to be more upfront defending yourself, you know what I mean? And to make it there, right? Sometimes you have to stab people. I hate to say it, but there's a lot of that going on, right? But as far as Kenzo, I love the guy. He's just a great dude. And you know what? Once we tagged up in All Japan, right? And then he lost some weight and he shaved his beard. I didn't realize how good looking a guy he was and how many girls dig him.
Really?
Oh yeah. Dude.
What are the groupies like in Japan anyway? I know you're not really that type of a guy, despite your reputation.
Don't get me wrong. I like to know that I can, right? Just for my self-confidence or my ego. But oh yeah, Japanese women just whoo.
Speaking of All Japan, you were Gora TV champion at one point, I think.
Yeah, the TV champion for All Japan. Yeah.
What was the circumstances behind that? Who did you beat?
Seiya Sanada.
Okay.
And yeah, we were supposed to have a rematch in the Sumo Arena in September of that year, but what had happened was the administration had changed. Muda had left his position as president, and another guy came in. So, you know, I was loyal to Muda because he gave me one of the best runs I've had in the business. So he formed a company called Wrestle One, and then yeah, I just went with him, and I'm going back for him the other month.
And I know you worked with Lance Cade a little bit. What are your thoughts on him as a wrestler? Unfortunately,
he's unbelievable. Like, Lance Cade was about 6'5", 270, and he could come off the top rope with that elbow, look just as good as Shawn Michaels. You know what I mean? He could move, and just a good human being, you know. And unfortunately, you know, you get caught up in being around the wrong people, in the wrong environments, and I miss him a lot, man. That really hurt me.
I asked Wes about this last night at the Hannibal TV live show. He hadn't heard about the incident. You might have. I know you follow the wrestling news a little bit, but there was an incident that happened back in June in Ring of Honor where I guess a fan was heckling Velvet Sky, and Bubba Ray Dudley talked to him in the back. He was brought backstage.
Okay, so what, did the fan physically touch her or spit on her or touch her in any way?
From my understanding, it was heckling, and I guess Velvet Sky had some type of relationship, or still has, with Bubba Ray Dudley, so he may have taken it a little bit.
Okay, but she's a heel. She's a bad guy, right? Velvet Sky?
I can't honestly tell you, but it's possible.
Okay, so when a fan buys a ticket, I mean...
I was just curious your opinion on that as a wrestling promoter, because I know as a wrestling promoter myself, one of the reasons fans come to wrestling is to get out their inhibitions. And
right, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, that's old school wrestling. I don't know, hey, I have no opinion on it. I'm not gonna say anything.
I don't know enough circumstances about what transpired other than Ring of Honor has put out a big statement since saying they've investigated it. Will never happen again. There's a different security protocol now.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if it was something to the effect that he, like, you know, physically touched her or assaulted her anyway, then I can understand. But if it's just a fan paying his money to yell at the heel or the babyface or whatever, I mean, that's, you know, that's part of the job.
Have you been following Ring of Honor at all? Apparently their crowds have not been very good so far this year compared to past years.
Right. I think the oversaturation is actually affecting everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because everybody wants to be international and try to be as big, so it's cutting the market, you know. But no, I don't really follow Ring of Honor. Although I'm happy as a pig in shit that PCO is finally getting a good run, you know.
That's a match I would like to see in current times, you against PCO. I think that would be a good match.
I don't know, he's a little crazy, but then again, so am I. So yeah, you're right, it probably would be a great match.
And at one point you were called Rene Bonaparte. I'm guessing that's after Napoleon.
Yeah.
What was the story behind that?
I don't know, man. I went to Japan. They want to change my name. They call me Rene Bonaparte. I guess it's like Napoleon Bonaparte, the French Napoleon from hell, I guess. That was my whole gimmick, womanizer. But I had a lot of fun. Hustle was a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Well, I'm a fan of the real Napoleon, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And you've worked some with Rob Van Dam, who I guess he's now part of Impact Wrestling. Any thoughts on working with him?
He's the type of guy that we could just say, okay, we don't have to talk and we'll go out and do 35 minutes. That's how well we know each other, you know what I mean? And I learned a lot from Rob.
What's Lashley like to work with?
He's powerful, man. Hitting into him is like hitting into a brick wall. I don't think he has an ounce of fat on him. He's a freak, man.
Now, finally, in your opinion, looking at the current Japan scene, I know you're an expert on Japanese wrestling. I'm certainly not. Where would you rank like the top 5 promotions? We all know New Japan is the clear number 1, but
Yeah.
there seems to be a bit of a mix between the other.
Well, you always had New Japan, All Japan, Noah. Even though you might see like the crowds and stuff are not as big, it's the sponsorships over there, right? You understand? Dragon Gate, even though you don't hear about them very much, are very popular. DDT, even though some of their wrestling is good. I'm not a big fan of the whole joke stuff, you know, blow up dolls and stuff like that.
That hurts the business more than it helps the business.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it, but you know, and I'm gonna talk about Jim Cornette here for a second. How he hates Kenny Omega, right? But here's the thing that Jim doesn't understand: Kenny Omega was in that developmental program in Deep South, and you were there, and you knew how messed up it was.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So
and this was not. People sometimes have the wrong look at it, like it was messed up from a hard training. Yeah, the training was hard, but there was pretty screwed up stuff going on there. Like making wrestlers strip down to their underwear, male and female, and push cars around a mall parking lot.
Okay.
Naked stick face.
Right. So here, what I like about this guy, I never met him, but what I like about him is he took a chance and said, you know what, I'm going to try to get to Japan on my own, right? And he did. Now he went to the DDP promotion, and in Japan, the word no doesn't exist. Right? So he basically did what he had to do, worked his ass off, and then, then All Japan was starting to use him. Then finally he got to New Japan and became the IWGP Heavyweight Champion. So my hat's off to the guy, and I never met him, but I'm proud of him, and all the best to him. You know?
There's a lot of Winnipeggers now. Don Callis is one of the executives at Impact, for what that's worth. And then there's Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho. So who would have thought that Winnipeg would...
Winnipeg's always been a hotbed, dude. There's a lot of other wrestlers like Chi Cruz, Eddie Watts, who are awesome talents.
I met Eddie Watts before.
Oh, dude, he was good, dude. He should have made it farther. Yeah, he was really good.
Well, now it's a little easier to make it back in the day than when Eddie was in it.
Yeah.
It seemed like even when we were breaking in.
Yeah.
Because there's so desperate need for polished performers now.
Yeah.
And they're creating their own. And speaking of the last company that just announced they're going to have a TV deal starting in late September or something, is Billy Corgan with this new NWA. What are your thoughts on what he's putting together? It doesn't seem like they've done much of their own. For a while, they had a partnership with Ring of Honor. Apparently, that's finished, from what I understand.
Yeah.
So,
Again, the one word that comes to mind is oversaturation. You know, but who knows? I hope they all do well. I hope that everybody can make a living, you know, but just the word oversaturation just comes to mind.
one company that I actually enjoy the most, as far as from what I understand from their booking, and I've been following their business, and they've actually grown their business on their own over the past year, is MLW.
Yeah.
We have friends of ours, David Boy Smith, they're in that company. What do you think of that company? They have the relationship with Noah. Is that somewhere you could see yourself? It's a really light schedule there.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, we're Canadian, so I need one of those work permits.
Yeah.
And those aren't cheap. But at this point in time, you know, like New Japan is like ever since I was a little kid, right? But,
Yeah.
Hey, if somebody wants to pay me, let's do it. But I'm not really fond or signing a contract.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, look at that Lucha Underground thing. Right?
Oh yeah, it's screwed.
Right?
A lot of people.
You know what I mean? Like,
even in England, the WWE UK people that are signing, and then they're not running shows, and now there's so many limitations on who they can wrestle.
right. They're getting a paycheck, and then I think 1 week out of the month they have to go do like this crazy intense training at their dojo in England there. So, hey man, it is what it is. If you want to be a part of the business or that company, you gotta do what they say.
Well, you're one of the top Canadian wrestlers without question, in my opinion, and in everyone's opinion. I don't see anyone that could really question that. And we're probably going to have you in Great North Wrestling in the foreseeable future, as we've had you for the past several years. So we're happy about that. Any final message you'd like to leave the fans watching today?
Petawawa, Ontario, at the Civic Center. You got myself against a backyarder who I'm going to kick the living crap out of.